So on today's podcast, we're talking about people and culture trends across organizations in 2026, and what are things that not only I'm seeing, but others are identifying across the landscape of work. Welcome back to the Thermostat with Jason Barger. If you're currently on a commute, a walk, or just a micro break in your day, glad you're making time to step back, to think, and to reflect on the next steps on your journey. I've never been more convinced the best leaders and team cultures in the world are the ones that make time to step back, breathe in good oxygen, and calibrate their thermostat. I hope today's conversation leaves you feeling grounded and inspired. Now let's dive into today's topic to engage our minds and hearts in order to authentically lead and create compelling cultures wherever we are in the world. Hey everyone, it's Jason and welcome back to the Thermostat podcast. Wherever you are and however you're coming to the podcast today, welcome in. So glad you are here. We're in season 10, which means that we have over 315 episodes. So if you're new to the podcast, welcome. Hope you'll go back, check out past episodes. So many great chats I've had with other thought leaders from around the world, people that are fascinating, friends of mine, colleagues, folks that are awesome. Also, so many different topics around leadership, culture, mindset, accountability, trust, whatever it is that you're looking for. You can Google my name, Jason Barger, and check out whatever it is you're looking for. Chances are you're going to find something. If you've been with us from the very beginning, I'm so grateful that this continues to add value to your life and your work. Welcome back. And my commitment every time I record one of these is that I want this to be a time for you to step back in your own life, have some good oxygen breathed into you, and to think about the temperature that you're trying to set in your life and your work. And so that's what we'll aim to do again today. Before we dive into today's episode, if you'll do me the quick favor, if you will rate the podcast, 5 stars, of course, if you'll leave an authentic review in your own words, share the podcast, whether that's with friends, colleagues, hey, let's take a listen to this episode and then talk about what it means for us. Share it on social media, whatever's authentic for you. Every time you share it with people, it helps amplify these messages around the world. And that's the point of this. So thanks to everybody. I'm very grateful for everybody that helps take the time to rate, review, and share these messages. Thank you. A new year is upon us, and the future of work is evolving as we speak. Organizations are evolving and learning from the changing landscape of what people need, what they want, and what is required for companies and organizations to be sustainable for the future of work, our perspectives, the trends, all of this is evolving and playing out right in front of us. At this time of each year, I find myself reflecting on my own observations and the trends that I'm seeing across teams and organizations. I'm very fortunate to get to be in and out of so many different types of companies and organizations of different sizes and across industries. I'm grateful that I get to support their development of people and culture and the clarity around mission, vision, and values. And along that journey, I'm learning how different places approach things and also seeing the similarities across industries that people face. I also look to places like every year around this time. I also, not outside of my own observations and reflections, I also look to places like the Harvard Business Review and Gallup and Forbes and other reputable sources to learn from the trends that they are seeing and reflect on how it compares to what I'm seeing and what I'm experiencing in my role. So on today's podcast, we're talking about people and culture trends across organizations in 2026, and what are things that not only I'm seeing, but others are identifying across the landscape of work. But before we dive into today's topic, if you'll pause, take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Many teams and organizations right now are realizing that they need to do both. They need to engage the minds and hearts of their people in person, where everyone in the room can experience the energy of congregating together and find clarity for the road ahead. And they also need to continue to find ways to engage the minds and hearts of their people virtually, with those who are working remotely or at a distance. So, if you are in the process of planning your next team meeting, company all-hands event, conference, or culture summit, and are looking for support with a powerful keynote speech, facilitated team conversations that are the currency for change, or deeper development on leadership mindset and an intentional strategy for the culture you're trying to create, I hope you'll contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. It is my privilege and our honor to partner with great people to provide support in these areas. We want to breathe oxygen into your leaders and throughout your organization so you can set the temperature you want for your culture. We look forward to connecting with you soon. I hope you'll contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. It is my privilege and our honor to partner with great people to provide support in these areas. We want to breathe oxygen into your leaders and throughout your organization so you can set the temperature you want for your culture. We look forward to connecting with you soon. The future of work continues to evolve. Even that phrasing, you hear it everywhere. People talking about the future of work. They're forecasting what does the workplace and workforce look like in years to come. The future of work continues to evolve. And trends in the workplace continue to emerge. And I want to highlight some things I'm seeing and reflecting on as a new year begins, as well as what I'm hearing from other reputable sources about people and culture trends in 2026. So here goes with some of my own observations and reflections and things I'm seeing and also, reading about and confirming in other places. But here's what I'm seeing as we think about people and culture trends in the year ahead. So some key trends and reflections. 1, engaging people and employee-driven culture and values alignment. So let me break that down. Employee engagement hit a 10-year low toward the end of 2025. We are in a very low trusting environment, as you've heard me talk about on other podcasts, and we're in this very low time of low engagement in the workplace, and I would say in our world. The best places are committed strategically to engaging their people. The best places have employees that use their voices, and they, their own voice and their own engagement is what's driving the workplace shifts and the cultures that they desire. People who are job seekers right now, they prioritize working for companies with aligned personal, social, and environmental values. And there's an increased public pressure on companies to ensure that their public image aligns with their internal practices and culture. So some of the other trends and things around this, so like engaging with our people and creating cultures that are employee-driven and aligned with our values are as important as ever. And this kind of focus on productivity and engagement in the year ahead is not purely driven by, working longer hours, but it's focused on redesigning work processes and improving low employee engagement, which again, Gallup and other studies have cited to be hovering at about 21% globally, which is very, very low. The best places have always engaged their people in participatory culture shaping. And in my opinion, that's always been the case. The best places that are engaging their people and creating that employee-driven, what is that future culture we're trying to create together? Those are the places that are having the higher engagement, higher trusting, and cultures that more and more people want to be a part of. So building that kind of participatory culture is as necessary now as ever. So that's one of the trends that I'm seeing around engaging people and kind of this employee-driven culture and alignment around values. Another trend I'm seeing is this recentering around human-centered leadership. You've heard me talk about this for some time now, this style of leadership, and I've highlighted this terminology on my podcast in the past, so you can go back and you can type in my name again and human-centered leadership, and you'll see some good conversations and great stuff about that. But as AI practices and greater automation handles, the more we get sophisticated with our AI practices and that kind of automating our tasks, that's going to handle more repetitive tasks And these skills that were formerly referred to as soft skills, which if you listen to this podcast or you've heard me speak or read my books, you know that I hate that term, this term, that old business term around soft skills. I hate the term because, in my opinion, as I look at the world we're in and my experience within organizations is those things that used to be referred to as soft skills, they now are the skills. They're not extra. But these are the skills you have to have, skills like empathy, communication, adaptability, being able to build levels of trust. These are just skills that are core leadership competencies. And many reputable research sources suggest that successful culture initiatives involve their senior leaders changing behaviors and ways of their working. So human-centered leadership are the senior leaders in your organization, which is not a surprise to any of us that live in this world, but the organizations where their senior leaders are actively growing their own leadership and thinking about how they're showing up to the people and shifting their own behaviors and the ways they work, those are the things that are resonating with people rather than superficial perks or programs. My observation is that the best places are intentionally and strategically developing this kind of human-centered, or I would even refer to it as servant leadership. These styles, they are intentionally and strategically developing within their culture how to think this way and how to show up this way. And they're intentionally developing this at the senior leadership level, at the mid-manager level. They're identifying emerging leaders and helping them develop in these ways. And they're also engaging their frontline employees. And how do we think about the way that all of us lead, even if it's not necessarily by title? So this concept around human-centered leadership continues to be a trend that's happening across organizations. Another trend is, of course, AI is a practice and a tool. AI is a practice and a tool. Our association with AI is shifting. AI is moving from a mere tool to actually a practice that we lean on. Automating HR tasks like screening and scheduling, and providing data analytics to predict workforce trends. The challenge lies in balancing AI efficiency with human judgment, managing what some sources are calling techno-stress, and ensuring ethical use and transparency. It's fun to watch people and teams beginning to leverage AI as a thought partner, thinking about it as a thought partner and a practice, to find solutions for things that they're working on. But AI is not the end-all, be-all, but the best places are using it and beginning to practice it to, how it becomes a thought partner and a tool for them to bring out the very best in humans, but also to automate things that can be better done by AI or other tools. So AI is a practice and a tool. Another trend I'm seeing is around this idea that well-being with your employees is a strategy. I'm seeing this in almost every organization I'm with, because more and more places are realizing that employee well-being, including their mental health, burnout prevention, and work-life balance, and if you've listened to this podcast, that I refer to and the work-life balance issue a little differently, and in my help with teams and organizations that are talking about or trying to find better ways to talk about this concept, because so many of their employees want to talk about it and need to talk about it, is really reframing it around this, that maybe work-life balance isn't really the best terminology, but work-life rhythm. I did a whole podcast, if you want to go back and check it out, around work-life rhythm, that it's now a core business strategy, not just a perk. A Gallup study noted that employees who feel cared for are significantly more engaged and less likely to experience burnout. And so what we also know is that from many, many different studies over the years, higher levels of engagement and healthier employees also produce higher results, while they are also more likely to be retained and then also to help attract other talent. So well-being is not just an add-on program on the side, but it's a strategy. How are we helping our people across our organization be healthy and thriving and engaged, and therefore it's better for their life. And oh, by the way, it's also better for their performance. And the last trend I'll just point out is that flexibility and hybrid models are here to stay. I'm seeing this, but I'm also learning and experiencing and reading this across research and other places. But flexibility and hybrid models are here to stay. People have learned to expect and enjoy greater flexibility. Flexible and hybrid work models are the standard, no longer the experiment. Successful organizations are moving beyond kind of blanket mandates to personalize, think about role-based flexibility, which is, again, becoming more and more crucial for retaining a diverse talent base. And don't hear this incorrectly or miss the key point I'm making. Performance still absolutely matters and is a driver. It always will be. Just the best places that I'm seeing are how they get to those results and that performance, that we are evolving the way from kind of standardized past, that the one standard for everyone, to more personalized. What is it that different people and employees in different situations may need a little bit different personal touch or flexibility or approach to things. And oh, by the way, we've known this for years, that different people's learning patterns and style of work are different. They're not all the same. So the best places are helping their employees finding their best rhythm, and also helping their employees and their teams, continue to say, how do we put ourselves in an environment to have our highest performance? And the teams and the leaders and the organizations that are able to have those courageous conversations with their people, they are the ones that tend to be navigating through these changes the best. And these kind of issues are going to continue to be critical within organizations. All of these trends and observations that I've just highlighted, as the workplace, the workplace is simultaneously more technological in nature and even more human, requiring leaders to prioritize things like building trust, empathy, adaptability, and redefining accountability. I've done some other full podcasts around this idea of redefining what accountability means, that it's more reciprocal than one way in nature. And so all of these things around engaging people and employee-driven cultures and aligned values, human-centered leadership, AI as a practice and a tool, well-being as a strategy, and flexibility and hybrid models that are here to stay, all of these observations are not only what I'm seeing and experiencing, but reading about. And also it's this kind of convergence of technological changes and even more human required leadership and connection across organizations. So I hope these observations are helpful to you as you think about the year ahead. I hope you've enjoyed today's podcast. I hope it got you thinking in some good ways and thinking about that temperature that you're trying to set in your life and your work. As always, I'll leave you with a few questions to ponder so that you can come out of this thinking about your life and your work. So some questions to ponder. What trends from the list of things that I talked about on this pod are needing greater attention in your culture in the year ahead? What are the items that need a little bit more of your attention in the year ahead? What's your plan to develop people and culture with intentionality in the year ahead? I hope you'll keep tuning in. Of course, don't forget to subscribe, to rate, to review, and to share the podcast with people in your network and the people that you think these messages will add value to. I appreciate everybody that takes the time to do that. Remember that the best leaders, teams, and cultures on the planet, they stimulate progress by recalibrating their thermostat together and getting clear on that temperature that they're aiming to set together. So, step back, remember, be a thermostat, and breathe good oxygen. Thank you for listening to today's podcast, and I hope the messages and questions stimulate positive change along your path. As always, if these messages resonate with you and add value to your life, I hope you'll help amplify them throughout the world. Please rate, comment, and share on whatever podcast or social media platform you're using, and share this podcast with the people in your life or work who should be part of these conversations. That way, this spirit does, in fact, spread. If these messages or developing leaders and culture would be helpful to you and your organization, please contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. And remember, we are all ambassadors for the culture we want to create in our life and work. We have to own the vision we want to be a part of. The future of leadership is you, is me, is us. Be a thermostat.